After hearing the following story, the Mongrel of the Year committee had no hesitation in awarding the Head Up Your Arse Award 2012 to 3 equally worthy winners. The Head Up Your Arse Award is to celebrate deliberate and willful blindness and inertia in government. This year's winners are the Premier of New South Wales, the New South Wales Independent Commission Against Corruption, called ICAC, and the Inspector of ICAC for choosing not to see the abuse of the disabled in New South Wales and failing to act. The story behind the award follows on from the Mongrel of the Year 2012, the Warringah Council treating people with disability worse than dogs and abusing and misusing the NSW system. This is the story of how our worthy winners earned their award. After the failure to reach a resolution at the Australian Human Rights Commission, Julia, a disabled tourist from New South Wales, and her partner, Chris, realised that the Warringah Council intended to continue with its unrestrained abuse of the disabled. Julia and Chris discovered that, according to the ICAC website, because the Warringah Council's improper use of power for the financial gain of the Master Locksmiths Association of Australia and the Warringah Council's dishonest and unfair conduct and the Warringah Council's breach of public trust, the Warringah Council would appear to be acting corruptly. Given the potential for widespread misuse and abuse of the MILAC system across New South Wales, with potentially hundreds and thousands of people with disabilities being denied lawful access to disabled toilets and being unlawfully forced to purchase a Master Locksmith access key, people with disabilities in New South Wales could be being corruptly ripped off millions of dollars. Yet, when the matter was raised with ICAC, ICAC refused to investigate the matter. ICAC dismissed the widespread abuse and misuse of the MLAC system as, quote, not enough corruption and, quote, not big enough corruption to warrant an investigation, and refused to consider any evidence. You have to admire the mongrel efficiency of ICAC. No evidence, no investigations, no costs, no effort, no result, and no political troubles. No bloody worries for corrupt operators in New South Wales. It's okay to rip off and abuse people with disability in New South Wales. Well done, ICAC, the friend of the mongrel. Julia and Chris thought the New South Wales Premier would be concerned at this rip-off and abuse of people with disabilities in New South Wales. Wrong. The Premier's office only referred the matter to another government department. Interestingly, the Premier's department is responsible for ensuring that local governments comply with their codes of conduct. The Warringah Council, in discriminating against people with disabilities, is in breach of its code of conduct. This is a sackable offence for those responsible. So, instead of referring the matter for further investigation, the Premier's Department merely referred the matter to the Inspector of ICAC. No action, no care, no bloody worries. The Inspector of ICAC knows how to piss off people so up themselves that they feel entitled to make a complaint about ICAC. The Inspector of ICAC deflected Julia and Chris's complaint with classical head-up-your-arse piss-off strategies. First piss-off strategy, make the written response partly incomprehensible. It really pisses off complainants when they struggle to make sense of the confused response. Next piss-off strategy, validate the complaint but take no action. The inspector appears to be saying that ICAC should have investigated the matter, but then he does nothing. No recommendation, no referral or instruction to ICAC, nothing, absolute inertia. This is classy, head-up-your-arse behaviour. Next piss-off strategy, only take untested unsubstantiated, dubious evidence from the parties profiting from the alleged corruption. The inspector tells Julian and Chris, with all the objectivity and impartiality he can muster, that the Master Locksmith Association of Australia are great people doing a great job, and he is happy to quote their sales pitch and PR work. Here again, we have a government official acting as a spokesman for the Master Locksmith Association of Australia and their product. It must be a New South Wales thing. Let's hope they are looking after him for his efforts. Next piss-off strategy. Fail to allow the complainant to articulate the complaint or present evidence. Investigations go much smoother and quicker when you don't have to worry about particulars or allegations or evidence. Next piss-off strategy. Apply the logic of the Mad Hatter. The inspector determined with all the pomposity he can muster that as Julia and Chris did not submit any evidence of corruption, he determines that there is no corruption. He did not allow Julia and Chris to present their concerns or their evidence. The inspector only asked for evidence from the parties profiting from the alleged corruption. He denied Julia and Chris natural justice by an abuse of process. The inspector of ICAC is content to consult privately only with parties profiting from the alleged corruption so as to justify dismissing what he admits is a valid matter worthy of investigation. The final piss-off strategy, he fails to respond to any complaints about his questionable logic and conduct. This is a celebration of mongrel values. This is classic, world-class, head up your arse, mongrel behaviour. The Mongrel of the Year Committee have no option but to award jointly the Premier of New South Wales, ICAC, and the Inspector of ICAC the inaugural Head Up Your Arse Award for 2012 for choosing not to see the suffering and abuse of people with disability in New South Wales and refusing to take any action.